All right, welcome to Module 2. We've spent time on the tools, the systems, the external stuff. But what actually powers all of that? Well, that's what we're diving into now. We're going to build the power source, that internal engine that honestly drives everything else you do.
So let's just start with the core problem, right? Why do so many people fail in this business? This quote really hits the nail on the head. It's not because they can't learn the tools, it's because they collapse internally long before their hard work ever gets a chance to compound. Our entire focus here is building the framework so that collapse just doesn't happen.
It really helps to think about success as having two distinct halves. Module 1, that was all about the external machine, the systems, the scripts, the tools. But now in Module 2, we're building the internal engine. And you can see pretty clearly how one is totally useless without the other, right? I mean, a powerful engine with no car to put it in, it's just a loud paperweight. And a beautiful, sophisticated car with no engine, well, it's just gonna sit there. Okay, so let's get really clear on this. What do we even mean by the internal engine? It's super important to define what this module is, and maybe even more importantly, what it is not. So what are the actual components we're building here? Well, it really comes down to a few core things. First, it's mental conditioning, the ability to handle real pressure without cracking. Then there's emotional regulation, which means you're not getting tossed around by the highs of a good day or the lows of a bad one. We're talking about spiritual grounding, identity alignment, so that your actions become this natural extension of who you've decided to be. And the goal for all of this? A type of discipline that actually fuels you, instead of just burning you out. And this is the part that's so crucial to understand. Here's what we are absolutely not doing right now. We are intentionally, very deliberately, separating the internal work from the external strategy. All the sales techniques, the money stuff, that's all coming in Module 3. Why? Because trying to stack those skills on top of a shaky internal foundation, that is just a recipe for disaster. We have to build the person first, and then we can build the salesperson. All right, that brings us to the first pillar of our internal engine, and it's all about identity before the outcome. So here it is, the core concept, identity-first execution. What does that mean? It means we are fundamentally shifting away from asking, hey, did I do well today? And looking at the numbers for an answer. Instead, it's a simple statement, I am the kind of person who shows up and does the work daily. See the difference? Your actions just become a reflection of your identity. You do the work because that's who you are, not to get a specific result. And let me tell you, that shift, it creates this incredibly calm, steady, unshakable confidence. And this is probably the most important part of this pillar. Your identity must stabilize before the results, before the money ever show up. You have to become the person who can handle that success long before it arrives. Just think of the money as a lagging indicator. It's just proof of the person you've already become. Okay, so with that foundation of identity in place, let's move on to our second pillar. This one is all about faith, but we're going to redefine it as a daily practical action. Now, when we use the word faith in this context, I want you to erase the idea of passive hope. This isn't about wishing. It's an active, daily discipline. It's the practice of acting before you see any proof. It's continuing to do the work when there's no praise, no validation, nothing. It's a deep trust that simple, boring repetition will eventually compound into something massive. That's faith. And these are the core resources we're going to lean on to build that mindset. Each one is here for a very specific reason. The Shift by Wayne Dyer, that's all about moving from an ego-driven approach to one of purpose. That video of the 72-year-old multimillionaire, it's the perfect lesson in trusting the delayed payoff. And look, with Think and Grow Rich, we are focusing only on the chapters about belief. It's about pairing that belief with relentless, persistent action. And finally, the power of now is your toolkit for staying present and calm, even when things get stressful. All right, on to our third and final pillar. And honestly, this might be the toughest one to put into practice every single day. It is all about detaching from the numbers, achieving a state of emotional neutrality. You have to burn this idea into your brain. Daily numbers do not define your trajectory. They just don't. A good day, a bad day, it's all just noise. It's a single data point on a massive chart. Your real trajectory, the thing that actually matters, is defined by the calm consistency of your actions over weeks and months and years. And this is exactly why it's so critical, because your execution stays clean only when your emotions stay quiet. Think about it. Emotional reactions, whether they're big highs or big lows, they just contaminate the process. They make you desperate after a bad day and lazy after a good one. But when the emotion is quiet, your execution can be clean, professional, and just relentless.
So that's the theory, the 3 pillars. But how do we actually make this a part of our daily life? This is where we take these ideas and turn them into your actual daily operating system.
This right here, this becomes your non-negotiable daily internal practice. It's simple. Step 1, a morning alignment. Just 5 minutes, no phone, where you simply set your intention to execute your identity. Step 2, during the workday, you practice execution neutrality. No emotional reactions. You just focus on the volume, on the process. And step 3, an end-of-day awareness. You reflect on one thing. Was I disciplined today? Not did I get results. This isn't about finding motivation. It's about being a professional. And make no mistake, all of this deep internal work has a very real, very tangible long-term payoff. When you build this kind of internal stability, you simply last longer. You don't burn out. And because you last longer, you inevitably earn more. You become a better leader because you're grounded. You completely avoid the emotional self-sabotage that derails almost everyone else. This right here is what separates the amateurs from the pros.
So as we wrap up, I just want you to reflect on this one question. Is your internal foundation actually built for the long game? Because the work we do here, building this engine, it's what's going to support every single thing you build in Module 3 and beyond. In the end, the strength of this foundation is what will determine how high you can really go.